Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Sí, muy bien, gracias. Me da mucho gusto saludarlos. Ya tenía muchos días que no había la oportunidad para podernos ver toda la comunidad de la universidad. Entonces les doy la bienvenida a este evento que organiza el Departamento de Idiomas de la universidad como parte de las actividades de internacionalización. Se llama Escuelas por la Tierra, crear conciencia del deterioro que estamos causando al planeta. Bienvenidos a todos y me da mucho gusto este tipo de acciones porque nos permiten hacer conciencia, darnos cuenta de cómo actuamos nosotros ante el deterioro que está teniendo nuestra casa, que es la tierra. Son acciones muy concretas que podemos realizar desde la manera en que nosotros nos expresamos. Cambios pequeños como dejar de decir basura y empezar a hablar de residuos. Nos permite entonces tener la capacidad incluso de separar, de ver algo que tiene una connotación de inservible, convertirlo en algo que todavía tiene vida útil por delante. Hay muchas acciones que vamos a estar revisando en este día. Todos conocemos las 3R, reducir, reutilizar, reciclar. Pocos utilizamos la composta, generamos composta. Pocos intercambiamos o donamos ropa. Pocos reutilizamos las bolsas. Acciones muy pequeñas, incluso como separar los plásticos de la bolsa que vamos a sacar a la basura y tirarlos aparte, ¿no? Separarlos. Creo que todas las acciones que podamos compartir este día y todos los días, pero en especial para poder mejorar nuestra casa, que es la tierra, van a ser una marca fundamental de nuestro paso por ella. Entonces les doy la bienvenida, me da mucho gusto saludarlos, a disfrutar y aprender de esta jornada. Gracias, maestra Jacqueline.
Muchas gracias, maestra. Bueno, pues damos inicio. We must act swiftly in order to halt the rate of decay of our planet, the problem that our planet faces. Remember, there is no planet B. Welcome, dear teachers, students, and audience online to our first Master Flip class. Let me introduce B2 Plus students who will be talking about soil and air decay. Please take notes because at the end of each exposition, you will be able to ask questions. Land is not merely soil, it's a fountain of energy flowing through circuits of soil, plants, and animals. All these are essential for life. There can be no life without soil and not soil without life because they have evolved together. Let's welcome Ana Jael Núñez Ábalos and Jesús Adrián Reveles.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. My classmate Adrian is going to present our video about this important topic.
I think there is a technical problem. We can't listen to Anajael. I think your microphone is off, Anajael.
Yes, our topic is already recorded. I think my classmate Adrian has a problem with the sound. Let me see. Excuse me, here we go again.
Okay, guys, make sure you're sharing your screen in the third option of sharing. All right, so we can if you want, you can share your screen so I can help you with it.
Thank you, teacher. Yes. Good afternoon. This is my classmate Adrián Reveles Nava and me, Ana Jaime Sábalos. And we are here to talk about an important topic that is soil pollution and talk about some solutions for this problem. But what is soil pollution? Soil pollution born from the presence of toxic chemicals in the soil in every high concentrations to pose a risk to human and also to the ecosystem. There are cases when contaminants occur naturally, but always in levels that are not enough to cause a risk. And soil pollution is said to occur when the levels of the contaminants in soil exceed the levels that should naturally be present, that are not dangerous for health.
Well, now let's talk about soil pollution causes. All soils, whether polluted or unpolluted, contain a variety of compounds or contaminants which are naturally present, which can include, for example, phosphates, carbonates, sulfates, nitrates, and many organic compounds like lipids, proteins, DNA, fatty acids, hydrocarbons, alcohols. I mean, it is well known that soil pollution is not made by our environment. However, like all other forms of nature, soil also suffers from pollution. The pollution of soil is a common thing these days, and it happens due to the presence of man-made elements.
And now, the types of soil pollution. The main pollutions that are in the soil are the biological agents and some of the human activities. Soil pollution are all the products and some of their human activities that we do. Soil pollution are all the products of soil pollution that are contaminating the soil. Human activities that pollute the soil range, from agricultural practices that infest the crops with pesticide chemicals to urban or industrial wastes or radioactive emissions that contaminate soil with various toxic substances.
And now, talking about examples of soil contaminants, we have, for example, lead, mercury, arsenic, copper, and zinc. And as you can see, here are some images that represent each of the aforementioned elements. And as you can see, each element corresponds to a place in the periodic table that is usually used to study chemistry. And following with the effects of soil pollution affects plants, animals, and humans alike. While anyone is susceptible to soil pollution, the effects may vary based on age, general health status, and other factors, such as the type of pollutant or contaminant inhaled or ingested. As we know, soil pollution can have a number of harmful effects on ecosystems and human, plants, and animals' health. For that reason, I personally consider that it's important to take care about our property environment.
And now the diseases caused by soil pollution. Humans can be affected by soil pollution through the inhalation of gases emitted from soils moving upward, or through the inhalation of water that is disturbed and transported by the wind because of the various human activities on the ground. Soil pollution may cause a variety of health problems, starting with headaches, nausea, fatigue, skin rash, eye irritation, and potentially resulting in more serious conditions like neuromuscular blockage, kidney and liver damage, and various forms of cancer.
And finally, here we have the soil pollution facts. Tiny amounts of contaminants accumulate in the soil and depending on the environmental conditions, including soil types, and the degradability of the released contaminant can reach high levels and pollute the soil. If the soil is contaminated, homegrown vegetables and fruits may become polluted too. It's a fact that soil pollution can affect humans through inhalation, direct skin contact, as well as the use of contact with the poisoned groundwater below the soil that circulates back on the ground.
Soil pollution is a serious problem which the modern world face. This occurs when soil contains chemicals that are toxic, or otherwise dangerous for humans and other living things. The chemicals may be foreign to the area, or they may be naturally occurring materials that pollute the soil by being present in dangerously high amounts. Soil pollution can have a number of harmful effects on human health, which may be of direct contact with polluted soil, or from contact with other resources such as water. Let's see few serious effects of soil pollution on well-being of humans. Number 1. Organ damage. The presence of heavy metals in soil in toxic amounts can cause irreversible deteriorations of either metal may cause damage to the developing brains of young children, which in turn may lead to neurological problems. Humans of any age may also suffer kidney or liver damage from exposure to excessive mercury in the soil. Number 2. Bioaccumulation. Soil that is not significantly polluted may still harm humans indirectly. One way such soil pollution can harm humans is by bioaccumulation. Plants that are grown in lightly polluted soil continuously absorb molecules of the pollutants. Since the plants cannot get rid of these molecules, they accumulate in the plant, causing higher amounts of pollution to exist in the plant than in the soil. Animals who eat these polluted plants intake all the pollution those plants have accumulated. Humans who eat these plants or animals may be poisoned, even if the soil itself does not contain enough pollution to harm human health. Number 3. Cause cancer. Many common soil pollutants are carcinogenic or cancer-causing. Humans who are exposed to the pollutants in the soil are far more likely to develop cancer than humans who are not exposed to them. For example, regular exposure to benzene is known to cause leukemia in both children and adults. Exposure to polychlorinated biphenyls or PCBs is linked to liver cancer. Number 4. Economic loss. In addition to endangering human health, soil pollution can also cause economic damage. For example, in some parts of China, soils that are polluted with heavy metals is used to grow grains, but these grains are often polluted with heavy metals. According to China, an estimated 12 million tons of polluted grain must be disposed each year, costing Chinese farmers up to 20 billion yuan, or about $2.6 billion. Number 5. Air and water contamination. Polluted soil by natural means contributes to air contamination by discharging volatile compounds into the atmosphere. The more toxic contaminants in the soil, the higher the level of toxic particles and foul gases emitted to the atmosphere. Soil pollution can also lead to water pollution, if the toxic chemicals and materials like dangerous heavy metals leach into groundwater, or contaminate stormwater runoff, which reaches lakes, rivers, streams, and oceans. Number 6. Endangers human health. More than 70% of the soil pollutants are carcinogenic in nature for humans. Soil pollutants can cause skin diseases, muscular blockage, and central nervous system disorders. Humans can be affected indirectly due to bioaccumulation or food poisoning. It happens when people consume crop produce that is grown in the polluted soils, or when they consume animal products that eat plants from polluted soils. As a result, humans suffer from acute illnesses, and may also lead to premature death. Now that you know what all serious effects can soil pollution have on humans, try to make the soil in our surroundings as neat as possible, to stay healthy and live longer.
Thanks for your attention. We hope you have learned something new, or haven't at least made the decision to take more care of your environment.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for your exposition. Now we open the chat for students to ask questions. If you have any question for your partners, please, it is time to ask them. Remember, participation will be considered.
So that's the way how can we prevent from plants to die?
Okay. Can you answer that question, please?
Can you repeat, Juan, please?
Is that the only way how can we save the plants, the nature?
Well, I think there are many ways we can preserve the nature, but we only show some of the more common ways. All the ways you can imagine, you can do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Anajael. Juan Ignacio, remember at the end of the exposition, we will have a special exposition that they will suggest or recommend possible solutions to preserve the planet. Any other question? Come on, ask questions.
I just wanted to know what are your final thoughts about the soil pollution?
Well, I consider
I don't
that.
know if my classmate.
Okay. My finally thought is that we must prevent soil pollution. For example, you can reduce the number of the trips you can take in your car. For example, if you are going to travel to university, you can go with a friend. If you can also you can reduce your or eliminate the fire plug and wood stove use and all that things that can be useful just if you are in your property house.
Thank you, Jesus Adrian. Any other question, guys? What actions, hold on, let me read this question for you. What actions is taking China to solve the problem of pollution of heavy metals in soil? Do you have that information, guys?
Actually, we don't have that
You don't
information.
have. Okay, well, I have with the Fernando, Jose Villalobos Olvera is asking, what is the most harmful pollutant for the planet? Do you have that information, Adriana and Anajael?
But I don't know the more danger for the plants, but I think all the chemicals, excuse me, the chemicals the factories uh, puts in the soil, you know.
Okay, very good. I have a question for you. Uh, did you research about the country which is contributing the most to the soil decay?
Again, miss, please.
Did you
I
research
didn't
about
hear you.
did you research about the country which is contributing the most to the soil decay?
No, I don't know which is the who are working for that, but in Mexico we are trying, no?
We are what?
Trying. We are making programs to improve the taking care of
Yes,
this.
we are trying. We are doing our best. Thank you, Anahail. There is a question. Denise Gomez is asking, what is your position on the recent environmental uh, crisis that has been seen in Mexico in recent months? I
I
think,
think my classmate Adrian wants to answer.
Adrian, would you like to answer that, please?
Yes. Okay. My position is that uh, nowadays in Mexico we are having several problems with the climate change and all that crazy situations. But I think that we all together we can try to get improvement to get a better situation actually here in Mexico.
Okay, you are right. That's why we are having this special class, because we are trying, we are doing our best to overcome and to overcome to this situation and save our planet. Well, any other question, guys? I guess not, and it's time to continue with the next exposition. If there is magic in this planet, it is contained in water. No water, no life. No blue, no green. It's time to welcome students, B2 students, who will talk about water and air decay. Let's welcome Marisa Lisbeth, José Martín Gerardo Domínguez, Norma Yamilet Guerrero, and Jaciel Arturo Cosio. Let's give them an applause, please. Welcome, guys. The microphone is yours.
Good afternoon to everybody. Could you hear me? And could you see the screen?
Yeah, we can hear you and see the screen too.
Okay, perfect. Okay, first of all, it's a pleasure to be here to be part of this activity from the Department of Language. Thank you for the invitation. Well, first, my name is Marisa Miranda. My team.
Well, my name is Yamilet Guerrero.
My name is Gerardo
Hi.
Dominguez.
Hi, my name is Arturo.
Okay, and today we're going to present you a topic that we all know, that we all recognize, that we all have knowledge of it, but we don't do something to reduce what is pollution. To be more specific, we're going to talk about air and water. For starting, I want to start with a phrase which is completely true, and I liked it, and it's something that it makes you think. Water and air, the two essential fluids on which all life depends, have become a global garbage can. From Jackie Gypsy Costume. Well, it's completely true. We have made our planet a garbage can, and it's like pretty sad because we're damaged all our life and the environment. Well, first, the definition of water pollution is that it's a toxic substance that's in our rivers, lakes, and oceans. And what this happen? Well, this is a really, really bad dangers that we're becoming because we need water to live. As we remember, the 70% of the earth is water, and making it be polluted affects on drinking water, rivers, lakes, and the ocean. The consequence harm our human health and the natural environment.
Well, now we are going to talk about the types of water pollution. They are divided into three types. The first one is the point source pollution. It is when the origin of the contamination comes from just a single point. An example is there is a river, and in the left side there is a factory and maybe a seaport. And the vessels in the factory contaminate the water, but only from the left side. The second one, contrary to the last type, it is the non-point source pollution. It is when the contamination comes from different sources. For example, like I said before, in the left side there are some factories and a seaport. And in the right side we have a city, we have farms, and in the front we have a road. So the contamination comes from different points. And the last one is the transboundary pollution. It is not only because of the origin of the contamination, it is the length of the damage could affect. It could be like 100 of miles away this body of water, and it could affect the ecosystems that are around this lake. Now, the main water pollutions. The factors or the products that you can see in the bottom of this slide are the main water pollutants. The fecal waste, the pesticides, fertilizers, plastics, drugs, and radioactive substances are the most who contaminate the water. And they don't only destroy the marine life, they also help to generate microorganisms like parasites, viruses, and bacteriums that destroy the property of water and make it not drinkable. It reduces the likelihood of being potable. So it doesn't only affect us because we use tools and substance to clean the water, but what about the animals
that drink the water of these bodies. They drink it directly, so these organisms get into their bodies. They are the most affected by this problem. And now, the dangers of water pollution. The pollution doesn't only affect the environment, like we saw in the last slide, it also could affect our health. Maybe we cannot see it now because the effects are not as visible, but maybe in a future they will be a big problem, creating new ills or maybe new parasites that will need more medicine or tools to eliminate it from our body. It is not a short thing. It is a long term, and in a future, it could be harmful for our health. And also, it affects our economy because as long as time goes on, we need more tools or substance to clean the water because it is dirtier. And the substance and tools need to be more specific and advanced to can eliminate the parasites and bacteriums that could be in the water.
Okay, you've already learned about the effects and types of water pollution. Now, what can we do as a society and individually to reduce water pollution? We can all collectively control water pollution to a large extent. We need to realize that pollution's solution is dilution. Next slide, please. Okay. There are several methods through which one can control water pollution. To begin with, on an individual level, we can do our bit to prevent water pollution, saying no to plastic as it remains in our oceans for thousands of years, reduce the items so there is less waste production. Next slide, please. And do not throw waste chemicals, oils, and medicines in the sink drain. Try limiting the use of detergents and bleachants, and if necessary, use environment-friendly detergents. All in all, we need to start practicing a lifestyle that does not contribute to water pollution. In a nutshell, we need water to survive. There won't be life without it.
Water is essential to life, and it not be spelled out exactly how important it is. Yet water pollution is one of the most serious ecological threats we face today. Love is in the air, but the air is highly polluted. A phrase by Amit Abraham. Air pollution. Air pollution is a mixture of solid particles and gases in the air.
Okay, according to the World Health Organization, it says that 9 of 10 people breathe air or have excess pollution. Air pollution kills estimate of 7 million people worldwide every year. This is real information. It's a data that's in charge of the World Health Organization. And it's pretty dangerous because, as we see, there are thousands of people dying because of the air pollution. Which are the consequences? Well, there's some consequence of this pollution. For example, the health. Many people that breathe this contaminated air could die in around the world. There are cities, countries that are completely polluted. For example, China, Korea. The last day I saw a video of a Korean, and it says that they have to have like a machine to clean up the air from their house because it's completely polluted. So it's quite dangerous, and not in that country. For example, in Mexico, in United States, in around the world, being problems. For example, in the climate, it affects and accelerates the warming and the glassy melt. For example, I have a problem that most of you know. The person who know me, I have a problem with my voice. And when the climate change like really fast or it's dramatic, it affects my voice and I don't have voice. And it's like allergic about the climate change. And this is one of the consequences of pollution. Another one is the food. As we know, Mexico has a really surface of to agriculture, food, and with the climate change, it affects the food that we're gonna eat because it has to be in several temperature. It doesn't have to rain a lot, and with the climate change, it would affect all the food it's growing down the ground. Another thing is the water. It affects the rains, as I said, and the energy is going to be like more hot, and we don't know how to change that, but we can prevent it.
Fortunately, nowadays in schools we are taught a lot about little things that we could do to do some change in the world to reduce the pollution and help to conserve our planet. And now we are going to mention the most important, and we hope that you could take them in count and also carry them out. The first one is riding a bike or walking instead of driving. Maybe this is something that we couldn't do every day or every time that we need to go somewhere. But if you have the opportunity, maybe once a day, do it, please. Because, for example, if you need to go to the store that is just a few blocks from your house, you could do it in bike or just walking. This doesn't only will help to our planet, it also helps to your health, your physical and mental health. The other one is power down the devices that you are not using. For example, if you are, I don't know, working in your home, but you need to do the food or you need to do another things, just turn off your monitor or your computer, because if it is turned on, it keeps absorbing energy, contaminating the planet. Also, you can use the natural light. If it is day, you can just open your curtains and let the sunlight get inside your home. Turn off the lights if they are not necessary. And also, if you are charging a device and it is just finished, keep the charge because it is consuming energy. And also close doors and windows to keep the fresh inside your home when you are using, I don't know, maybe the air, the mini split. Those are some advices that we could do to you.
Okay, nature is an asset given to us. It has given life to living beings and to pass on this asset to our offspring as it is. We need to take good care of it. If we need our future generations to grow up in a healthy environment, then we need to take the steps now. We need to stop cutting the trees for the sake of the constructions of resident colonies or factories, reduce the smoke and emissions, and thereby reducing air pollution. Okay. Yes, please, the next slide. Thank you. To fight the spread of COVID-19, many countries impose drastic measures that curtailed economic activities. Schools and shops closed, air travel was banned, and some cities saw full lockdowns. While these measures have caused economic hardship, it shows that they have also dramatically improved air quality. Air pollution in urban areas declined by up to 45% during lockdown, with air quality improvements persisting even after lockdown. measures were lifted.
Thank you, partners and authorities, for your attention. Before we leave, I would like to mention a phrase by Gustav. Be part of the solution, not part of the pollution. Please remember, even if we travel to another solar system, there is no Earth B. In name of the B2 group, I would like to thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, students. Teacher Heriberto, would you like to say something? Can you hear me, Heriberto?
Miss, your mic is very low.
My microphone is low?
Yes.
Well, Teacher Heriberto wanted to say something. I don't know if he's here. Well, questions so far, students, to your classmates? Questions about water and air pollution? No one? Okay, here we have a question. Leonardo Maciel Molina is asking, in agriculture, the water should go in with some substances to favor the plants. It is right or wrong? And explain why.
Well, in this slide, I say that the pesticides and fertilizers are the main pollutants of water. So it could help to our plants, but it will damage the water. So you only have to use the right quantity and use it in the right place. Don't do it with a big amount of water. Just do it with the necessary water to make grow your plants, and there it will be any one problem.
Thank you, Noel. Brandon Peña is asking, which is the country that pollutes the most the water, and which is the one that best cares for it?
I think one of the most polluted it's on China. There's cities where you can't drink water, you can't get that water or get in that water because it's going to affect you. And I think the most take care of water, it could be um United States, the United Kingdom. Those are the ones that take more care of the water. Even though in the United Kingdom there's like not much water, or France or some those countries, because it's not around water, so I think they could take care of more.
Thank you very much. Elizabeth Diaz is asking you, what do you think about fast fashion clothes? What's your posture? Do you think that fast
Okay.
fashion clothes affects all this about this topic?
Yes, absolutely. The fast fashion affects mainly it's related with water pollution, because if you want to make clothing, you need to use loads of water, more than you think. So the fast fashion has the mm, I don't know how to say, but they spend a lot of water. So you need to take care about what are you wearing. It's better to use expensive clothing, but with the guarantee that they are taking care about the environment.
Okay, thank you very much. Francisco Fernandez Fuentes is asking you, instead of cutting trees to make things or products, what would you propose to replace the wood and avoid cutting trees?
Okay, well, I think, and I think we already have enough recycled things, for example, plastic, or even though the journals that we have, that we could make another journals recycling. We have the technology to reduce it, reuse it. So I think that's gonna be a good option. And the plastic is helping the plastic, but not that I'm gonna buy something made of plastic. No, it could be like with plastic recycle. I think it's gonna be a good option. It's gonna be like a little bit more expensive, but where it's our world, it's damaged, so we have to make things to reduce what we do, what we have done these years.
Thank you very much, guys. Any other question for your partners? I guess no.
I got a question
Yes.
that is, well, I heard that being vegan is a well way to help the water, and I wanted to know what you know about it because of the industry of the food, the meat, and all those uh, consumes a lot of water. So, what you know about it? Do you think that is correct, or is maybe just a wrong idea?
Okay, well, your question is, if I understand good, the fact that we're using a lot of water for our meat and our food. Well, I think those are things necessary, and they're completely necessary. And for a long time ago, we have been eating it. We have been having our own meat, and I think the problem it's not just that. I think the problem is that we, as human, we don't take care of the water, because if we stop like throwing water when we take a shower, like we stay like an hour taking a shower, well, that's completely affect. And for the food, it's necessary, and I think the technology is
I didn't understand well, I didn't explain in a correct way, but I was talking about, for example, like Lala that has like the cows for the milk, or those kinds of industry that got a lot of animals, and they um,
yes, they
they
use a lot of water.
spend kind of lives to those animals, and the consumes a lot of water. So I was reading an article that talks about uh, being vegan. It's a kind of solution to helps to take care of the water. So I wanted to know if
Okay.
that could be
Dr.
a
Alfredo
red
wants to
flag.
add something here. Dr. Alfredo wants to say something about this topic, about what you said. Microphone is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm very proud of you, first of all. I want to say this. But yes, in fact, the carbon footprint of dairy and meat industry is one of the most bigger in the whole world. If you consume a lot of meat and a lot of dairy products, yes, you're increasing your carbon footprint in the world because they use a lot of water. For example, you know, the meat here or the cattle require alfalfa. So alfalfa requires a lot of water. And yes, in this region, you know that we have two bigger dams or two big dams in over the Nassau River. And in those dams, we are um, using mostly by year around 3,000 millions of cubic meters of water, and 90% of that is used every year just to grow alfalfa, to give to feed cattle.
Yes, I'm with you. I know that they take a lot of water. One thing I have to remember is that Lala is from here. It started here. That's actually its name is Lacti Laguna. That's why it's called Lala. And I am according that they waste a lot of water for the animals. And I think it could be an option that they start like another industry in like not start like repart in other cities where there's more water for the cows. And like but we can't take all literally all the cows to another city. Yeah, and because it's gonna take a lot of employers, it's gonna make a lot of pollution because if we're talking about logistic, it's not gonna be enough just one truck. It has to be more than one truck to take more than 10 trucks to take all the cows from here to another city.
Yeah, no. It's this is not a criticism about an industry. This is about our consumption or the consumption that we made actually of proteins. There are many ways to obtain proteins. And well, you're too young to know that our parents and probably your grandparents eat much more or less meat than you eat right now. And this is a difference. There is some scientific studies that says that yes, the cattle industry is responsible for around the 80% of the CO2 carbon dioxide gas in the world. Cows or cattle is polluting much more than cars right now. And that's a fact too. And this is not criticism about the industry, but yes, I think that we need to review our consumption of goods and our consumption of proteins.
There's one more question. Thank you, Dr. Alfredo. Yes, I totally agree. We must consider the way or how the amount of meat we are consuming. I understand La Laguna is an area that is almost 90% carnivore. We eat meat almost every day. And I don't say anything about the weekends because we have the carnita asada and all that. So we should consider the amount of meat we are eating and the dairy products as well. Well, anyway, it's a matter of educating ourselves uh, about the way we eat. Any other question, guys? There is a question about Leonardo Maciel Molina. Do you consider that the water will be enough for sustain of the race human of the following growing to the rhythm that goes. Is the question clear? Do you consider the water is enough for the coming years to the pace that the population is growing?
I think no, because if you can see, we don't need to go to the future to see if the water is enough. There are some countries that they don't have enough water, so it is not a future fact, it's a present fact. It's happening now, and that's why we need to change our mind and do something about water pollution, because the water is not forever. At least the human consume water.
Okay, thank you, Arturo. There is something else that Leonardo is saying. If your answer is no, would be the human race willing to give up to luxuries of companies and industries providing to conserve the water? That's a good question.
Actually, they have, if they contaminate, they have to make something to reduce what they have done, and they have to, for the government, they have to do something for it.
Okay, thank you very much. Teacher Heriberto, would you like to say something?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, as the intelligent species in the planet, it is our responsibility to take care of it. Sadly, I believe that we are having an opposite effect. In this search of technological advancement and new ways of life and new commodities, we have sacrificed lots of things that have provoked this change. We have seen now the consequences of global warming, the pollution of air, soil, and water. In the next following presentations, the students will be also talking about some specific activities that have been harming the planet alongside with the air, water, and soil pollution. In their presentation, they will be not only giving us some details about the problems that we are creating as humans, but also the solutions to how we can save this planet instead of what we're currently doing, which is killing it. I would like to invite my students, Jonathan Garcia, Jonathan Contreras, Luis Eduardo, Miranda, Mariana Sainz, and Emilio Ibarra, to speak in that order about some things and some activities that we are provoking as humans that are contributing to the harm to the planet instead of helping it. So I would ask all of you to please pay attention to these following presentations, and at the end, we will welcome questions.
May I say something about your students?
Of course.
If the challenge exists, so must the solution. Even though we are suffering the consequences of global warming, UTLD has strong souls who have emerged to suggest a solution. Let's work hard to save the planet because we are unstoppable. We are the best. We are strong. We are renders. Welcome, students. The microphone is yours.
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me. I'm going to take the pleasure to share my screen. Well, I'm gonna be talking about non-sustainable agriculture. My name is Jonathan Garcia Hidalgo, and I'd like to start with a brief definition. Unsustainable agriculture is also known as unsustainable farming, which are agricultural activities that might lead to their own extinction. Agriculture is the art of growing plants and crops as well as the raising of animals for human consumption and economic gain. By the part of unsustainable or unsustainability, there are actions or activities repeated continuously that lead to not being able to do them again. So basically, unsustainable agriculture are practices that do not consider the overuse of soil nutrients that represent the right conditions for plant raising. Now, continuing with the causes. Among the causes, we got policies. Policies, at least here in Mexico, we lack policies that are no regulations for the use of land. Another cause are genetically modified organisms which increase farming, and farming includes a bigger use of land. Overconsumption, by the part of overconsumption, we got that global markets favors a higher demand in fruits and elements such as fruits and vegetables, and countries like the United States produces up to 100 kilograms of food waste per year. And by the part of agribusinesses, we got that there is a great competition among the small-scale farmers and large companies. There is price competition, price discrimination, and agribusinesses do not let small-scale farmers work normally. Among the consequences, we got land degradation, which is basically the loss in value of biophysical environment, which represents a lack of soil nutrients, which is a decline of productivity. It also causes food insecurity, which is food insecurity is also a consequence of food waste that I mentioned before. And sustainability can further exacerbate food insecurity as there is a decline in productivity. It's also like it's a chain. It causes also human health. And the wide use of chemicals, for example, in genetically modified organisms requires a specific treatment with determined chemicals, which increases the presence of chemicals in the elements that we consume, also in water and soil in which we raise our new crops. Poverty for countries such as Mexico, Peru, Colombia, Brazil, where agriculture represents a high percentage of the GDP. The GDP is the gross domestic product. It is a macroeconomic measurement that values a country's economy. And in the case for Mexico and Brazil, it has decreases from 7 to 3% in some regions. And it is important to take it into account as at least here in Mexico, more than the 20% of the population base their economy on agriculture. It's also under the minimum wage salary. Now, the most important for this is how you can take action. By the part of taking action, I think a law reinforcement will be the greatest implementation to be made by the government, as restricting the use of land to certain periods, so the soil can recover its natural nutrients during a certain period of time. Also, by promoting sustainability through subsidies for small-scale farmers, promoting free training in this case as well. Something else that you can do is contacting organizations such as CELDF, CEMDA. CELDF is Community Environmental Legal Defense Fund, and CEMDA is Centro Mexicano de Defensa Ambiental. And if you see, just in the case that you see farmers being threatened by large companies, or in the case of large companies just overusing land for mere economic gain. Something else that you can do, and I think most important, as you can do it as individual, is start consuming local. As far as possible, try to consume from local farmers so you can help your economy and reduce food waste, as large companies only use the most visually attractive products to be put out in sale, whereas small-scale farmers use that waste to be put into something else, such as fertilizers, or to be put as food to feed their livestock. Also, it's important to mention that local farmers do not use chemicals. They are being pushed by large companies to use chemicals so they can compete with large companies because they have bigger production and, of course, offer cheaper prices. And there's competitivity. And that will be it for my part. If you have any questions, or we continue with one of my classmates.
Let's now welcome Mr. Jonathan Contreras, who will expose yet another small problematic in idea, but it's creating big problems and the solutions to this one. Mr. Jonathan Contreras.
Yes, teacher, please give me a moment. Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Jonathan Contreras, and today I will be talking about a cryptocurrency and the environment. First of all, what is cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is decentralized digital money based on blockchain technology. You may be familiar with the most popular versions, Bitcoin and Ethereum, but there are more than 5,000 different cryptocurrencies in circulation according to CoinLog. How does cryptocurrency works? A cryptocurrency is a medium of exchange that is digital, encrypted, and decentralized. Unlike the US dollar or the euro, there is no central authority that manages and maintains the value of a cryptocurrency. Instead, these tasks are broadly distributed among cryptocurrency users via the internet. Mining requires high amounts of energy and generates a big amount of electronic waste. That's because mining requires a big amount of GPUs on a farm in order to get profit from cryptocurrency. Just to put a little bit of context, a GPU is a graphic processing unit. Basically, it's used on your computer to give video, and it's the reason why you have video on your screen. It's because you have a GPU. Well, when a person wants to get started into cryptocurrency world, they will need only one GPU. They will need a huge amount of GPUs. Only using one GPU on your PC requires a big amount of energy. The bigger the capacity the GPU has, the bigger the amount of energy required will be increased. Now imagine the quantity of energy required to power a farm of cryptocurrency. For instance, a farm of cryptocurrency could use 78 GPUs or a higher amount. And here we have in the screen a country ranking, which places the countries and the terawatt hours consumption of energy. We have Ukraine and Sweden, and we can see Bitcoin right here, which is a cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency spends almost the same quantity of energy in comparison with Sweden and Ukraine. We almost say that Bitcoin would be a country when it comes to term on wasting and spending energy. Analyze it from a different angle. According to the economist, a single Bitcoin transaction has an average carbon footprint of 549 kilograms CO2, the equivalent of watching 91,624 hours of watching YouTube. And here we have an image which plays the electrical energy comparison and the carbon footprint comparisons between the number of Visa transactions that can be powered by the consume for a single Bitcoin transaction, and the number of Visa transactions with a carbon footprint equal to the footprint of a single Bitcoin transaction. But how bad is Bitcoin for the environment exactly? A study published in Nature Climate Change warned that Bitcoin's emission alone could push global warming about 200 degrees Celsius. How so? Because Bitcoin's bad impact on the environment isn't just about how much energy is used. Other factors need to be accounted for as well. Bitcoin Bytes' impact on the environment is not only about the energy it consumes. The type of energy used also matters, particularly when we are speaking of pollution non-renewable energy, as is the case with most of the energy used in Bitcoin.
Mr. Jonathan, I'm sorry. Apparently there is somebody that has a microphone on and it's disturbing. So can we ask this person to turn off your microphone, please? Or Ms. Jackie, if we can mute him.
I haven't identified whose person is this. Can you turn off your mic again? Yes, I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now let's go ahead again.
Sorry.
Well, as I said, the Bitcoin Bytes impact on the environment is not only about the amount of energy it consumes. The type of energy used also matters, particularly when we are speaking of pollution, non-renewable energy, as in the case with most of the energy used in the Bitcoin network. Okay. Most of some 65% mining facilities are located in regions, primarily in China, that relies on highly pollution coal-based facilities or hydroelectricity, which are cheap and little taxed. The Cambridge Center for Alternative Finance estimates coal accounts for 38% of Bitcoin's mining power. The Bitcoin network does not just have energy and hardware problems. It also generates significant quantities of electronic waste. The reason for this is that Bitcoin mining is done with specialized hardware that becomes obsolete roughly every 1.5 years, continues increasing the energy efficiency of these network interactions of mining devices, ensure that other ones will inevitably become obsolete on a regular basis. Less efficient mining devices will be always pressured out of the market sooner or later, as they simply cannot compete with newer. Now, imagine the quantity of electronic waste generated from a crypto fund. Wouldn't Bitcoin's bad impact on the environment be easily fixed if the network supplying miners was powered with renewable energy? Well, not at all. But a simple step to at least reduce the impact on the environment would be using renewable energy and recycle all the hardware used to give another usage to the components. And that was the presentation. If you have any questions.
Questions will be at the end of the expositions because we are still missing some expositions. Thank you.
If not, let's go ahead with my next partner.
Mr. Luis Eduardo Miranda.
You see the presentation now?
Yes, sir. We have visual. Thank you.
Okay. Well, my presentation is about the energy crisis. These are the CO2 emissions from around the world. China, unsurprisingly, is at the top with 10,065 million tons of CO2 release. We have here these little markers to see who is here. We have China, we have the United States, India, Russia, and I added Germany for a reason we'll see at the very end. We have here the world fossil carbon dioxide emissions. This is from 2018, so it is a little outdated. Here we can see that other countries and China are basically at the same. China's a little at the top. That means that China is producing as much as emissions as the rest of the world. We have the first problem, or the first point that we'll see, which is solar. These are the drawbacks of the solar energy. Most solar recycling plants simply remove the valuable silver and copper from the cells and then recycle the contaminated glass and plastic casings by burning them in cement ovens. Almost 80 million Almost 80 million tons of solar waste are projected for 2050. The heavy metals in solar panels, which are lead and cadmium, can leach out the cells and get into groundwater. Oh, and a little fact that the sun kills many people a year because of radiation. Here we have the drawbacks of eolic energy. Wind turbine blades cannot be recycled, so they are piling up in landfills. First, you need to see through the lysosome. No, you need to saw through the lysosome fiberglass using a diamond encrusted industrial saw to create three pieces small enough to be strapped to a tractor trailer. They need to be transported to landfills and covered so they can stay there pretty much forever. Wind power needs large land facilities to manage the energy, so you need a lot of area to control what you are producing. Wind turbines kills 1.17 million birds a year. Their top speeds are around 50 to 55 miles per hour, which is their upper safety limit. Large-scale wind turbines normally have a braking system that kicks in around 55 to prevent damage to the blades. This means that you cannot generate energy from the air when the air is too slow, and you cannot generate energy when it's too fast. Here are the landfills. Here are all the blades from many turbines are being buried because you cannot do anything about it. Wind turbines average 11 grams of CO2 emissions per kilowatt hour of electricity generated, which is pretty good actually. A 44 grams of CO2 per kilowatt hour for solar, 450 for natural gas, and 1 kilo for coal. People die also from bad air conditions. Geothermal. Most of the plants are closed-loop systems, which means the contaminated deep water is not released to the environment. Open-loop systems emit hydrogen sulfide, carbon dioxide, ammonia, methane, and
Mr. Luis Eduardo.
Yes? Sorry?
Sorry, it's just that your mic was off.
Oh, since when?
Just a couple of seconds.
I'm sorry. Where was I? Or what did you hear?
You had actually started talking about the consumption section right now.
Well, in open loop systems?
Yes.
Okay. Well, open loop systems emit hydrogen sulfide, carbon dioxide, ammonia, methane, and boron. These are very heavy and damaging molecules that you cannot get very easily out of the water. So if they get into water systems, they disrupt them. And these plants, geothermal plants, need to be located, especially where they are easy to get the heat of the earth. What about nuclear? Nuclear power is a little bit too expensive, which is from $6 to $9 billion per plant per 1.1 gigawatts, which is an outdated price from like 2010. You are not going to get a lesson about nuclear power in the news because it is a little bit difficult to understand. It's very understandable that people fear it because it sounds like magic. Also, it doesn't help that HBO released a drama series, which I need to say that again, a drama series about Chernobyl. There have been 100 serious accidents from nuclear plants in history, which is a very little amount of accidents. Points to knowledge before the solution. Climate change debate has been hijacked by political parties to exploit the populace and gain power. The world powers are the ones generating the most pollution. Child labor and slavery is very important to mine the materials, batteries, and computers need to be made as it keeps cost low and the kids seem to be having a blast. I mean, look at them. They are like, the lithium we are harvesting will go on a Tesla. They are probably very happy. Scientists have been wrong in history about many things, even when I didn't finish it. But about energy, you had the coal rush during the Industrial Revolution, which really polluted the earth. Not because a house can be powered by solar panels, a country can be also. Just because you stop using straws, you will not negate the pollution of a company destroying the ocean. Corruption is a major factor in the energy industry. The major companies that pollute the world are China, with China Coal, Saudi Aramco from Saudi Arabia, Gazprom, which is from Russia, Iran Oil Company, ExxonMobil, which is from United States, Coal India. They are the top 10 generators of greenhouse gases. Those companies will tell you that you are the problem, that you are the one polluting, and they will keep on doing their work as usual. So this is the solution. It's nuclear. We have here the right, Germany, which is this one, and on the left, France, which is this one. We have the green one and the yellow one. Carbon intensity means how many carbon dioxide you are generating per kilowatt hour. 265 grams in Germany and 30 on France. And we can see that nuclear is the main source of energy in France, and wind and solar and also coal is in Germany. It's a little contradictory when people tell you that wind and solar will make you use less coal, which actually is false. It makes you use more, because of the low reliability of these two. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Um, Carbon, coal cannot be entirely abandoned when you have wind and solar, because when there's a storm, you cannot use any amount of solar energy. It doesn't produce anything if you cannot see the sun. And wind, as I told you, you need very specific circumstances when the air will generate energy. So that's the solution. And the world can be um, solved, let's say solved, by switching to nuclear. That's it.
Okay, any question for your classmates? Questions for Jonathan, for Luis, and
No, miss.
no questions?
No.
Okay, very good. Success is not just what you accomplish in your life. It's about what you inspire to others. And here at the university, we are going to inspire people with and make them conscious about this topic. So let's welcome Miguel Ángel Carrillo, who will motivate us to accomplish a challenge.
Hello, I hope you're doing great. Let me present my screen. I call it Challenge Take Care of the Earth, made by the C1 group. At the UTLD, we care about the Earth. That's why we have our study model based on this: bilingual, international, inclusive, and sustainable. Bilingual, because we speak two languages, Spanish and English, two of the three most spoken languages, for being able to share to more people our vision. International, without borders, to share our challenge. Inclusive, every single person can be part of our mission. And sustainable, to give a triple impact to the environment, to the society, and to the economy. I want to share you little quote that says, "Only someone like you cares a full lot. Nothing is going to get better. It is not." Dr. Seuss. That quote tells us a lot just in a few words. I understand it is us. In you, yeah, just in you, are the first step for a change, for becoming better as a society and improving our environment. We propose the challenge of Made a Compost. And for this, we have just a few steps that are just 7 easy steps to make it. The first one is choose your type of backyard compost bin. That means you can use either an open pile compost or a compost bin. Then we have to choose the location for the compost. You should choose the allocation which is flat, well drained, and sunny. Third step is alternate layers. Start with a layer of coarse materials to allow drain and aeration. Then cover it with green materials layers and brown material layers. Then we have the fourth step as at kitchen and yard waste. As they accumulate, collect your kitchen compostables in a container and add them to the compost. As a fifth step, we have continue to add layers until your bin is full. Then we have to maintain our compost bin and just checking it and stay with her. Then our final step is harvest our compost. At the end, the compost will be dark, crumbly, and smell like air. You should be able to have finished compost within 4 to 6 months of starting your bin. Then the final step is use the compost, use it, and we can use it as a soil conditioner to increase the properties from the soil and clean a little bit of the soil pollution, like as we see at the beginning of the webinar. We make this when planting or transplanting trees, flowers, or shrubs by filling the hole with a half compost and a half soil. When we care about a plant, we get a new filter to clean it. In my own experience, I choose to make a compost bin and not an open pile. It's more easy to have the compost bin. Then as a location, I choose a plastic bottle that allows me to move easily to get sun and save it from the rain. And obviously, I recycle a bottle. Next, I'm making the layers and getting the kitchen and yard waste. Since we choose the compost as the challenge, I start to collect the organic kitchen waste and separate into green or brown materials. Here we have a table that shows us to the green brown materials to identify the type of material. We have like the paper, the cardboard, all the things that comes from paper is like brown materials, and the green materials, it is green, like green leaves, vegetables waste, tea bags. The only thing that is no green, but it's a green material, is the coffee ground filter, but it helps and it works like a green material. Then the fifth step is fill it up until it's full. After this, we posted some pictures, some videos in our social media. As a group, we post everyone a picture and we hashtag Go Green Renders, UTL Eco-Friendly. We tag the university. There are some TikToks. And right now, it only reminds to wait and check the compost. Another challenge we made is separate our garbage, and you could do it in your home too. We propose to separate them in 5 types of garbage, like organic waste, and you can use it to make it a compost, obviously. Metal materials like cans, pins, metal stationery. Then we have the plastic materials, as we know, the plastic bottles, the plastic bags, and among others. Next, we have the paper and cardboard, and obviously their derivatives. And finally, we have the glass residues. Those, the plastic, paper, glass, and metal garbage, all separated. More that to help the planet, you can get some money if you sell it, or you can support people who need it, giving them the separate garbage for they can get some money too. Now, let's see a little video from one of my classmates that shows us a way to use banana peels.
Hi, my name is Frida, and this is my plant. His name is Bob. The day before yesterday, I made a fertilizer for me. I'm a very used fertilizer that I had.
Can you mute your microphone?
Yes. Let me turn off.
Hi, my name is Frida, and this is my plant. His name is Bob. He's Sandra Caira. The day before yesterday, I made a fertilizer for him, a very useful fertilizer with things that I had at home. For example, these are 2 peels of banana that me and my dad used the day before yesterday for dinner. And instead of just throwing them up, I saved them. I put them in this container with some water, and I'm gonna use it now for Bob. Well, as you can see, I'm just using the water, and I'm gonna use it just a little bit because Bob is a carrera and he doesn't drink too much water. And I'm gonna use the rest for the rest of the plants of the house. And you can do it too. You can just save some bananas from your house instead of just throwing them up and use them for your plants so your plants can grow nice and healthy. Yes.
Then another thing you could do in your home is a homemade water filter. That is easily to make it. For reuse the water, we can make it. Like we watch in the image, is not difficult. The water that we use for wash dishes, maybe we could pass through the filter and use it to make your own natural fertilizer. How my classmate Frida said, with banana fertilizer, and give some from your plants. Then we invite you to keep yourself green using the 8 R's that are rethink, repair, reuse, reduce, refuse, recycle, recover, and regive. Another thing you could do is make your own checklist of low impact living. We propose some activities like use reusable food containers, bags, cups, carry your own cutleries, and your metal bamboo straw, maybe, and a lot of more things that you can help the planet, and you can make a good living, low impact. And don't forget to share in your social media your own eco-friendly projects with the hashtag #GoGreenRenders and hashtag UTLD eco-friendly, and tag the university on its social media. Thanks.
Thank you very much for challenging us. Mr. Dean, do you have something to say?
Well, I'm amazed about your creativity and all your presentations. Really, I'm so proud of all of you. It's awesome in reality. And I would like to, well, obviously after see all these projects, I would like to implement all of them here at the university. Even I was thinking, and well, more than a challenge, a new scholarship for people who wants to come in bicycle to ride in bicycle every day to university. If you decide to ride in bicycle and to come here in a more sustainable way than a car, I suppose that we can do something. Yeah. to implement a new scholarship. Yeah, why not? Well, obviously, if you want to propose any sustainable project here, you'll be supported. Please think in short-term projects to implement here. But yes, you'll be supported. You will get all the support that you need here. We should have a nursery garden. Well, yeah, why not? And thank you so much. I don't know if there's someone else in the list. No? Jacqueline?
Well, thank you very much, guys. I'm really surprised and I'm really glad, pleased about the job you did. You did excellent research. Your participations were very good from the beginning to the end. Thank you to the teachers who supported you. And I challenge you, students and teachers, to do what Miguel suggested. Take yourself a picture or a video while accomplishing the challenge. Maybe reusing, recycling, reducing, planting a tree, doing the compost or whatever you decide to do. And don't forget to hashtag the university. Remember, hashtag Go Green Renders, hashtag UTLD Eco-Friendly, and hashtag UT Laguna Durango. Okay? Thank you very much. This was the first master flipped classroom, and I hope it's not the last one. Thank you very much for your participation and for being here. This was your English class for today. Okay.
Thank you so much. See you.
See you.
Go Green Renders.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you.
See you.
See you.
See you.
See you. Have a nice day. Anna Nelly. Yes, Anna Nelly?